Today's lecture, we're going to talk about rational number. Rational number is fractions. So we're going to learn everything about fractions. The first problem, it's a reduce to the lowest terms. So this first one, when it's a reduce to the lowest term, we need to know what's the factor of 10 and 15. So we know what will be the common factor. So 10 is same as 2 times 5. 15 is 3 times 5. So if we know what factor is inside, 5 over 5, we can cancel that out because it's the same thing inside, right? So which gives you 2 over 3 remains. So that's what reducing lowest term, get rid of the common factor. 5 over 5 become 1, right? But instead of writing down all the factor, what you can do is just imagine what's inside. So for example, 32 over 80, both number being even, I could say, if I don't see a big value that's common between these two numbers, you can just start from a small value like 2 because they're even. So let's say 2 goes into 32 16 times, right? 2 times 16 is 32. 2 goes into 80 40 times. So I get rid of 2 from both numbers. 16 and 40, they're even number again. So I could say 2 goes into 16 8 times. 2 goes into 40 20 times. And if you say bigger than 2, that's okay to get rid of. I can see that 4 goes into 8 2 times. 4 goes into 20 5 times, which will give you lowest term of 2 over 5. That's how you can reduce to lowest term when you see fractions. Example 2, they want us to convert the mixed number into improper fractions. So what's the mixed number? Mixed number is when you have the whole number in front of fractions, right? We call this is mixed number. Improper fraction is when you have a bigger number on the numerator. So how are we going to change mixed numbers to improper fractions? So basically, what you're going to do is multiplying these two numbers, you're multiplying, and whatever the number you get, you add the numerator. So you do 9 times 2, 18 plus 7, which is going to be 25. So this end up getting 25 on the numerator. Denominator just stays same. So this is how you're going to change to mixed numbers to improper fractions. Let's try one more time. So this one will be still negative. Negative, positive sign do not change. And we do 8 times 2 plus 5, right? So you're going to get 16 plus 5, that's 21. It will be 21 on the numerator and 8 will stay same. The next one, they are asking to convert into improper fractions to mixed number this time. So we multiply the other one. So this is going to be dividing. So we do numerator, divide by denominator. So 3 goes into 5 1 times. Your remainder will be 2. So your remainder become your numerator and denominator stays same. So divider will be your whole number. Remainder will be the numerator. So that's left over, right? And denominator same. So let's try one more time. So you do basically dividing. And we're going to have 8 goes into 47 5 times. 7 remains. So 5 will be the whole number. Remainder will be the numerator. 8 stays same. Example 4. We wanted to see if we can express the rational number as the decimal. So fraction into decimal. Fraction into decimal, basically again we divide. So it will be 3 divided by 5. 5 do not go into 3, so it will be 0. And you need to use the decimal place because in order to bring the next decimal values, right? So 30. 5 goes into 30 6 times. So it will be 0.6. 3 over 5 is 0.6. Of course, you can use your calculator also. Let's see. What about 7 divided by 11 then? This one, it goes 0 times. So now I can use this 0, 70. And it goes in 6 times. 66 gives you 40, which is going to be 3. That's going to be another 7. So it looks like it's going to keep repeating, right? It's going to keep repeat 6, 3, 6, 3, 6, 3. Without doing it, you can tell, right? You got 70 back as you started, right? And if you have a repetitions, this is how you can show. So 63 is the one it's repeating. So it will be 0.63 with the bar on top. What about if we wanted to change decimal to fraction this time? So whatever the number that you have, you will write down on the top numerator. Denominator value depends on how many decimal value you have. So this one, after points, I have one decimal place. It means I'm going to have 1 0 on denominator. That will make it 10. And you can reduce if it's reducible. But this one cannot. So 0.7 is equals to 7 over 10. So then let's try this one. So whatever the number is will be numerator. You don't write 0 in front of the number, so just 48. And then denominator will be 10th digit number with the same decimal space number of the decimal space becomes 0, right? So we have 3 decimal place, right? So it will be 30. And because both value being even number, you should be able to reduce and look like 4 goes in 12. 4 goes into 1,000, 250 times. And that's another even one, so you can reduce further. 2 goes into 12 6 times. 2 goes into 250, 125 times. And 6 and 125 don't have common, so that's the fractions. So 0.048 is 6 over 125. Example 6, we're trying to change repeating decimal into the fractions. We don't use this a lot, but this textbook have that problem. So what we need to do is understanding what repeating decimal is going to be equals to. So since 0.66 repeating means you have 0.6666 keep repeating, right? So I'm going to let n be a repeating decimal. So if n equals to 0.6666 repeating, if I multiply 10 on both sides, so if I get 10n, multiply this by 10 and this by 10, I will get 6.6666 repeating, right? And I will subtract my n I had. What was n again? It was 0.6666. Then what do you get from those two, right? These two. I will get 10 minus 1n, I get 9n. This is going to be just 6. And when I solve for n, divide both sides by 9. So it will be 6 over 9. When you reduce this, it will be 2/3. So this 2/3 is going to be fractions shape of 0.6 repeating. It's not hard, you just need to remember the steps, right? So let's try one more time. So this number, if I'm going to, so this is equals to 0.535353 repeating, right? So I'm going to let n number equals to that, right? And then what will be 10n then? It will be 5. Well, this time we don't want it to use 10n. We wanted to use 100n because the repeating was the 2-digit numbers. So instead of 10, let me use 100 here. Again, why? It's depending on the decimal place. I had 2 decimal places, so I need 2 zeros. So then this is going to be 53.5353 repeating, right? And when I subtract n, which is 0.5353, I will get 99 n equal 53. So my n will be 53 over 99. And since I cannot reduce that fractions, that number is going to be fractions form of your decimal value. Example 7. Let's see if we can do the multiplication of the fractions. Multiplications, you just need to remember you wanted to simplify before you multiply. Okay? So if I look at 3 over 8 versus 5 over 11, I don't see any commons. Not even cross, right? So 3 and 11 don't have any common factor. 5 and 8 don't have any common factor. Of course, 3 and 8, no commons. 5 and 11, no commons. So if you cannot find the commons, then you multiply numerator by numerator. So it'll be 3 times 5. And denominator by denominator, 88. So reduce before you multiply. What about if you have a signs? Well, I will get rid of the sign first. So we know this is multiplication. 2 negative, make it positive. So I just need to know what sign my solution sign is going to be. So this is going to be positive. Let's see if I have a commons, right? So look like 3 goes into 9 3 times. 2 goes into 4 twice. So when I multiply this, it's going to be 1 times 3 and 1 times 2, right? So if you reduce, your multiplication become easier because it's smaller number. and then you don't have to reduce when your number is large. If you have mixed fractions, I like to change it to improper fraction first. So that's going to be 3 times 3 plus 2, which is 11 over 3, times 1 times 4 is 4 plus 1 is 5 over 4. And let's see if I have any common factor. No. So then multiply as it is. 11 times 5, 3 times 4. And this is improper fractions. We start with mixed numbers. So our solution, we want it to be mixed fractions. So then 12 goes into 55 4 times, and 7 remains. Changing 55 over 12 into mixed number will be 4, 7 over 12. Next example is dividing. Dividing is same as multiplication. It's just adding one more step in the beginning, which is changing to multiplication. So division, we're going to change to multiplication. When we change it, we need to make sure we're going to flip the second fractions. So this division problem become times 10 over 1. So change division into multiplication and flip the second fractions. Now multiplication, we already know how to multiply. Let's reduce first and then multiply. So it will be 8 over 1, which is just 8. If it's a mixed numbers, you wanted to change improper fraction first. So you're going to get 4 times 4 plus 9 times 2 times 1 plus 1 is 3. So that 3 become denominator, and 2 will be the numerator, since this become 3 over 2, right? And you want it to reduce before you multiply. 2, 1. And then multiply will be 19 over 6. You started with mixed number, so let's answer with the mixed number. 6 goes into 19 3 times, which gives you 1 remainder. Oh, that's 6. Example 9 is about adding, subtracting fractions. So adding, subtracting, we need to make sure we have to have same denominator in order to add, subtract the numerator. We need to be able to find the common denominator. Remember finding common multiple, right? That's how we're going to do it. So 4 and 6, your common multiple is going to be 4 times 3, so it will be 12, right? So it will be 12. Or if you don't remember from the previous sections, 4 and then next number, 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 3 is 12 and more, right? 6 is 6, 6 times 2 is 12 and more. So this is the smallest common multiplication. That's what we call least common multiple. And if we have those two numbers, write it on denominator. So now we need to think, what do you need to multiply 4 to become 12? You need to multiply 3. That's the number you're going to multiply to the numerator, right? So when you multiply that, you get 9. Now, what number you need to multiply 6 to become 12? You need to multiply 2. So you're going to multiply 2 on the numerator, which gives you 2. So once you find same denominator, then make it equivalent fractions by multiplying by same number on the numerator. Then add or subtract whatever you need to do on the numerator. So 9 plus 2 is 11 over 12. Okay, one more. I'm going to this time show you how to find this common denominator from the other section we did, right? So it'll be 2 times 5, will be 2 times 6, 2 times 3. So it's 2 times 5 as the prime factor. This is 2 squared times 3 as the prime factor. So then least common multiple is going to be 2 squared times 3 times 5, which is going to be 4 times 5 is 20 times 3 is 60. So these fractions, both of them should be 60 denominator. So 10 to become, this 10 right here, to become 60, you need to multiply 6. So let's multiply 6 to 3. Then you get 18. 12 to multiply by 12 to become 60, you need to multiply 5 to 12. So let's multiply 5. Right? So then you get 35. So you get 18 minus 35, right? Once you have same denominator, you can do subtraction of the numerator. So 18 is positive, 35 is negative. So bigger number minus smaller numbers will be 35 minus 18 is 17. Copy the sign from the bigger number over 60. You can also rewrite this as negative 17 over 60. Example 10, let's see if we can simplify it. So we're doing order of operation, this time dealing with fractions. So we already know everything we need to know about. We need to know how to do addition, subtraction, multiplication, division of fractions. And we also know order of operation. We're just going to put it all together. So I guess we're going to do this part first, right? Inside of the parenthesis. Maybe at the same time I can find 1/2, 1/2 cube, right? Because it's outside, it's not connected. I should be able to do that. So 1 cube is 1, 2 cube is 8, minus, well, in order to do the addition, you have to have same denominator. So 1/2 become 2/4, minus 3/4 squared to the negative 4. Right, have to have same denominator. Now I can do the subtractions. So it will be negative 1/4, and you're squaring that. Of course, you need to do exponent still first before you do multiplication and subtractions. And when you square the negative, you get positive 1/4 times 4 is 16. Times negative 4. And now we do the multiplications. This is multiplications right here. No sign means you're multiplying this too. So we do multiplication before subtractions. So it will be 1/8. Negative, negative, make it positive. And 4 is same as having 4/1. And look like I can get rid of that 4 by reducing the fractions. So multiplication, numerator will be 1 times 1. Denominator will be 4 times 1. In order to do these additions, I have to have 1 over 8 plus 4 goes into 8 if I multiply by 2. So it will be 8, and this is going to be 2. The numerator, 1 plus 2, 3 over 8 is what you're going to get for that order of operations with fractions. Let's try one other one before we do next groups. So I do the multiplication. Look like this is multiplications. I don't see any exponents or grouping that I need to do. So I do the multiplications and divisions. That's separate by addition. So I should be able to do this two at the same time even, right? So in order to do this multiplications, let's trying to reduce. No comments. Numerator versus denominator, right? So basically you're multiplying that. So it'll be negative 9 over 8 plus, in order to do that divisions, I need to change it to multiplications and flip the second fractions, right? And let's reduce before we do multiplying. So it'll be 2 and 3. So then I get negative 9 over 8 plus 3 times 3, 2 times 5. Now I do additions. Again, in order to do addition, I need to get the same denominator. And this common denominator of 8 and 10 is 40. So it will be 40. So 8 to become 40, I need to multiply by 5. 5 times 9 is 45. 10 to become 40, I need to multiply 4. 4 times 9, 36. And this two number is opposite. One is negative, one is positive. So bigger number minus smaller number. Get the sign from the bigger number. So your solution would be negative 45 minus 36, right? So that will be negative 9 over 40. And since you cannot reduce, that must be the solution for that problem. Last problem of this section is finding the halfway of those two numbers. So if I wanted to find halfway of any two numbers, first thing I need to do is adding those two numbers and divide by 2. So don't forget what I need to do is add then divide by 2, right? In order to find half of those 2 points. So in order to go through that steps, 1/2 and 3/4 is given, so I need to add that two number first. And in order to add that, I have to have same denominator, so this becomes 2 over 4 plus 3 over 4, which is going to be 5 over 4. And then we're going to 5 over 4 divide by 2. This is same as 5 over 4 divide by 2 over 1. And when we change that to multiplications, division we always change to multiplication by flipping the second fractions. And if you cannot reduce the fraction, multiply the numerator and multiply denominators. So half of those two fractions, 1/2 and 3/4, is going to be 5 over 8.